A lot of you do not care about this tractor. The whole jack of all trades, master of none, that's not where that quote ends. 7 years ago, I was told it should be scrapped. People are into one thing. You're just good at this one thing. That can change overnight, and then you have nothing. That's on. Let's go work on the tractor.
Howdy!
Stop! You don't play like that on the tractor. Because it's not safe.
Plug down. Yeah, plug down.
Will you go get Nolly for me? Okay, come on. Now this takes 7 quarts, and this is 8. Does it?
Yeah.
There it goes. It's dripping out now. Said it is dripping out now. That's how you check the oil. That's how you check the oil. Remember, all engines need oil. And that's the one thing you should check all the time.
Yeah.
Now we can see if we have spark. Cautious. Yeah. Means you like to good job.
Yeah. I like to do what?
Think about stuff before you do it. Like, you don't just do it. You like to think about it and have a plan. And you don't like to take risks as much. Down here is really corroded, so that's gonna make us not have as much spark. And here, these are pretty wore, and this was off to the side like that.
lightning, kind of funny. Definitely a mag rebuild kit in the future. But right now, so it's supposed to have a 15th gap when it's up on center. The nice thing about this model is it's got a crank. There. That should be centered. That's supposed to be a 15th gap. Let's see if we can see a spark. I don't. So, no spark. Which is weird. I mean, I do get a little bit of a poke when I touch it and roll it over. So there's electricity there, but not enough to create a visible spark, which then isn't enough to actually start the tractor because it needs a hot spark. So, I don't know. I guess start with a magneto rebuild kit, which means spending money, which I don't have and don't want to spend on this, but I also don't want to sit stagnant. So I guess I gotta price it out and see where to go from there. New condenser. I believe that's the reason I'm not getting spark. It's not the right one. It's for a different brand 6-volt tractor, but it does fit in there. And I just rolled it over. I was kind of skeptical, even though that's what I think is wrong with it. And I did have spark right here at the point. So I know my cap, that's a good thing. And I know my cap is kind of messed up. It's got some wear. I definitely need a new cap. But we're gonna go ahead and put it on and see if we get spark at the spark plugs. Then we can put some gas in both cylinders, roll it over and see if we can get it to pop. I'm just taking this step by step. I ended up taking, this one has a 3-way valve on it because it was made, it's an all fuel. It was made to run typically kerosene at that time. We started on gas, switched it over to kerosene. So it's a 3-way valve, so you can switch it from the seat from gas to kerosene after it warmed up. So I took that off and have been messing with that a little bit today. I think I got that pretty good. And then that got me down the rabbit hole of the sediment bowl. Because of the way the gas is nowadays, and really, I mean, even back then, the best way to shut these tractors off is by running them out of fuel, so that way the fuel doesn't sit inside the carb. If you were using it every day, it wouldn't matter, but, you know, obviously a lot of times, these older antique tractors, you're not using them every day. So the old sediment bowl that has a shut off, the way that shut off works, it's just a pin with a hole in it and it's not tapered. So it's loosened up over time and it doesn't actually shut the gas off. So it would still be leaking into the carb. So I went ahead and
got a new sediment bowl, but you got to do a little bit of fabrication to make it work with that three-way valve. So that's what I got to work on next. Okay, so now that's got a good spark there. So now need to go get a gas can, put a little gas in her, and hopefully she at least pops a couple times, and then that'll get us excited and on to the next step. Basically what I want, I want to get it to fire, and then we'll worry about getting the fuel system hooked back up. Does the carburetor need to be rebuilt? Is it fine? We don't know. But for as long as this has been sitting, and I already knew I had troubles, a little bit of trouble before it sat, so we want to start from the beginning. Does it fire? Does it run from squirting gas into cylinders? If we can get there, then we'll go on to the carb. Because if you start out just trying to start it the normal way, then you're just going to have to trace all this stuff back. So we got spark, we're going to give it fuel, see if that works, and then we'll see if the carburetor works.
This is jungle. Jungle can't be a jungle without those. They eat carrots fast and soon, but when they eat it, they're pretty.
That's it, running a little bit.
What?
Yeah. I don't know. See if I
I'm fine. They're fine. Daddy, they're fine.
So I know what I was doing wrong with this carburetor.
What's wrong?
It has to go, well, I believe. Yeah, it has to go down that hole to fill the bowl, but now I'm looking at it, looks like it should be. It's still not. I don't know why not. The float might be stuck. Where'd that wrench go?
I'm popping hard. I'm popping hard.
Hard.
Yeah, I'm popping. I'm being popping.
It's over here. Let me back out of that.
Daddy,
What?
where did it come?
Yeah.
I want to push out.
You want bluegies now?
Yes.
Why? Alright, see? Now, float stuck. The float does not float. No.
No.
Needle is stuck.
Why?
building it later.
Okay, is this supposed to be going up and down, or why does it need to go up and up?
That's what lets the gas in there. Yeah, we'll put that back on there in a minute. You did it? Good job.
Yeah.
You're such a big helper.
And I am too, but you don't let me help.
I do let you help. After a week, I am ready to put the carburetor back on. So, funny story about this carburetor. I decided to bring it into my work and take it all apart and clean it up. Well, I was cleaning it up, and none of it really looked that bad, which made sense because I had somebody rebuild it when I painted this tractor. So there really wasn't much of a reason for it to be bad. But it was, I mean, the float was stuck and it was gummed up a little bit. They say one of the big things with these carburetors is the float will get a hole in it, so then it'll fill full of gas, and then it'll flood the motor because it won't float up to tell it to shut off, and it'll just flood the motor up. So to test that, they tell you to put it in a tub of water, and you'll see air bubbles if it's real bad. Otherwise, like in this case, I left it in that tub of water for an hour, and I took it out, and I could shake it and I could feel water was in it. So I asked one of the other guys at work, I said, hey, do we have any brazing rod? I'm going to try to braze a hole on this float for this carburetor. He goes, yeah, we got some. So, well, the only thing is now it's got water in it, so what do I do about that? I got it set upside down and I think it'll slowly leak out, but that could take forever. And he says, well, go put it in the oven. It's a die shop, so we have an oven to heat up tool steel so you can weld on it. A lot of your tool steels have to be 500 to 900 degrees for you to be able to weld on it and it not crack. So he said, do it at like 200 degrees. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So I go back and I put it in the oven. The oven's backed by the CNC mills I run. So I put it in there, I'm running the mill, go back, check on it. Still not even really steaming. The oven isn't really on. I mean, it's not really made to go down that low. And it's a super old oven. The name brand of it is Lucifer, which is kind of funny. Anyways, so I'm back there running my mill. After I checked on it a couple times and turned it up a couple times. And the other kid that runs the mill back there, he comes running up to me behind the corner. He's like, hey man, are my eyebrows gone? I'm like, your eyebrows?
No, why? They're cinched. I know they're cinched. I'm like, I don't think so. Yeah, they are. Well, what'd you do? What'd I do? He's like, what'd you do? I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, I was sitting there running my mill, and I see flames this high out of the heat treat oven. So he goes over there and he opens the door to the oven, and the flames come wrapping around, because he said he didn't stand in front of it, and just came at his face. And it did. It cinched all his eyebrows, cinched his eyelashes. Wasn't good. But more importantly, my float had gotten so hot that it like blew up. There must have been a little bit of gas in there, whether the gas was like dried up or I don't know, because it didn't shake before I soaked it, but it shook after. So I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but he wasn't too happy. He got over it though. It's these needles. They're supposed to be set at 1.5 turns to start. That's 1.5. Then you can fine tune them once it's running, but 1.5 should get it to run. The air cleaner actually doesn't need to be hooked up to start it up. So we're just going to leave that off for now. I mean, obviously, yes, you do want the air cleaner on it. But for what we're doing, just trying to see if it'll run, we'll be fine. So the reason I had to wait a week was waiting for the new float, which the new float was only $30 plus $10 in shipping, so it wasn't the end of the world. Definitely wasn't worth burning the shop down over, but hey, if you can save $1, you can save $1. But this time we couldn't. I probably eventually will actually rebuild the carburetor a little more, but let's get it running, see what it does. We'll go from there. Same with the magneto. That could use some work too, but for now, we're just trying to get her running, see what kind of issues we have, see what we're working with. Just this in the bottom, which I'm gonna go get some dinner, come back out to milk cows. We gotta hook up the gas line, and then we'll be ready to try it. Now I got this new sediment bowl that I'm gonna put on. The other one, the shut off, did not work good. Wow. Be careful. And it's very important that you're able to shut off the gas on these tractors. Okay, please don't play with that right now. Shouldn't be pouring out of there. Well, there you go. That's super exciting. That's something I never thought I would see happen, is this tractor running again. So I'm more than excited. Ooh. But, you know, I know there's a few of you on here that are going to tell me what I did wrong on that carburetor. I don't know if I didn't tighten it good enough, but gaskets, I don't think you want too tight. I don't know. I don't know why that thing was leaking like heck, but it was. And so that's something I got to figure out. Put the air cleaner back on. The radiator I know doesn't have any water in it, so I got to get some water in that. Maybe it leaks, maybe it doesn't. I have no idea. So that'd be the next step. That's exciting. It runs. And it didn't sound horrible. It didn't sound great, but it didn't sound horrible. There's a lot of adjustments you can do. Turning the magneto to get the timing right when it gets its spark. And the needles on the carb. And I know a lot of you, I see it in the view duration, a lot of you do not care about this tractor. And that's fine. But it's part of the farm. I know most of you are here for the chickens, but I'm not just the chicken guy. In my opinion, just being in chickens would not make a good homestead, would not make a good farm, would not make a good business. I think too much today, people are into one thing. You're just good at this one thing. Well, guess what? That can change overnight, and then you have nothing. The whole jack of all trades, master of none, that's not where that quote ends. It's actually a good thing. Just like on homesteads, we preach how, well, yeah, you don't want a whole field of clover, because what if something happens to your clover? You want diversity. Well, that's the same thing here. I have diversity. This tractor is to clip the pastures for my dairy cows. My dairy cows help provide a steady income for the homestead and the milk to fatten out the breast chickens. So it's all a part of it. I'm sorry that not all of you are into it. Hopefully some of you are. If not, I guess then it's for me. But I think it's interesting. I think it's cool. And no, the whole channel is not going to be tractor restoration, because that would be horrible, because I'm not that great at it. But this is a part of it. So thanks for watching. Super exciting day. Finally got her running. A lot of work to be done yet, but we're running. So 7 years ago, I was told it should be scrapped because the motor was seized and couldn't get unstuck. And now we're here. So thank you to everybody who reached out to me and said, no, you can fix that tractor.